Hello, everyone. I'm Elif. I have over 10 years of experience in the tech industry, and for the last 6 years, I've focused on people management, leading data and engineering teams. I've built and grown several teams, so I have experience in tech hiring, but today I'm here as a candidate advocate, talking about the new era in tech hiring. Why this topic? Why me? Unfortunately, I was a part of mass layoff in the beginning of this year, and as you can see, I'm still searching for my next role. This made me to speak to so many other job seekers, and I've noticed, actually now quite obvious and explicit pattern. The bars to get a job are incredibly high, and maybe you remember the phrase Lena Reinhardt this morning used, eierlegende Wollmilchsau. Some job descriptions unified multiple roles in one, and expectations seem impossible. And the hiring processes are lengthy, and there are so many quick rejections, sometimes even right after submitting the application. And nowadays, getting a screening call feels like, yes, success. They notice me, I exist for them. And there is also the ghosting, which sadly became the norm. I personally would prefer a clear rejection over a complete silence nowadays, and believe me, it's not unique to me. This experience is the case for so many other people. Again, it's obvious. In the recent years, all these mass layoffs put talented people in the candidate pool, and at the same time, the open positions are scarce. And this makes the competition among candidates very intense. And there's also a challenge for the companies, because they have to find the right fit among this large pool of applicants. But the question might remain, why should we care about the candidate experience in all this chaos? I guess all the job seekers like me could create a long list of reasons why, but at least the report from LinkedIn shows that improving candidate experience increase the hiring quality by up to 70%. It will possibly improve the onboarding and retention for the ones who are hired. But considering that there are far more people rejected than hired, it's very critical to deliver rejections in the right way. Another statistic from the same report is supporting that, because 50% of people who had negative candidate experience would stop buying the products or services of the company. So improving candidate experience is a win-win situation for both candidates and hiring managers. It's not only good for candidates, it's also smart for business. Now, I want you to think about your bad interview experience. If you are lucky not to have any of those, obviously you haven't been searching a job this year, or maybe you've heard from other people who had these experiences. I'm going to perform an exaggerated version of a bad interview. A hiring manager begins an interview for engineering manager role. Confess. Sorry, wrong script. I meant, thanks for joining the interview. Apologies for being 5 minutes late. My last meeting ran over, so I'm going to search for your CV. Meanwhile, can you tell me about your current responsibilities? Yes. Laid off. Okay, so you're unemployed at the moment. I see. In your CV, I noticed 2 weeks gap before your last job. What were you doing then? What do you know about our product? Do you have any hands-on experience with Kubernetes? What about the programming languages? The biggest failure while managing a technical project. Yeah, okay. Oh, well, we are almost out of time. 1 minute left. Do you have any questions? No? Great. Thanks for your time. We will get back to you soon. Bye.
Hope you're enjoying this video. But did you know LeadDev has lots more to offer?
So webinar, podcasts, I even like articles, conferences, events, and most importantly, community.
And even thinking about like process, tech, and people, which is how LeadDev website is laid out, I really think this is the #1 learning platform for me as an engineering manager.
Don't forget to check out leaddev.com.
I told you it was intentionally overdramatic, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of you found it a little bit familiar. After this wonderful interview, 2 weeks pass, radio silence. And finally, the candidate reaches out for an update, and they receive a no-reply rejection email, of course with no feedback. Let's rewind a bit to right after this interview to see how the candidate came out of this moment. This did not go well. The interviewer seemed convinced already from the beginning that I wasn't good enough for this role. I was so excited. I prepared well. I knew my stuff, but somehow I got nervous and sometimes even blank on some answers. I wouldn't hire myself, honestly. It's just pity. I still think that I could contribute a lot in this role, but probably I missed the chance. You know what? I actually don't want to work at this company anymore. They didn't seem to care about me as a person in the whole hiring process. I'm not so sure about their company culture. It's not always so easy to move on after such a bad experience, especially when the rejections pile up. Long-term unemployment is very isolating. The people in this situation deserve our respect for their resilience. But now, let's switch the gears and see what happens when we approach with empathy. The candidate just shares their mass layoff situations in the interview, and we will see how the interviewer will respond to that. I'm so sorry to hear about the layoff. It's tough. I know the market right now is so challenging for so many people. But if we look from the bright side, it brought you here. I'm really glad we get to meet. I wish all the interviews would have such a warm start. And we can imagine, if this is the setup, how the interview will continue. But nevertheless, let's see how the candidate is going to feel after that nice experience. That was great. It was more like a conversation. The interviewer was so friendly and supportive. I felt so comfortable. I could showcase all my skills. They even gave me feedback on my CV and some answers. That was so helpful. I believe they are so genuine about their values of collaboration and respect. I really, really want to work here. Same candidate, 2 different experiences. One leaves with feeling valued, and the other feels overlooked. Why? Because some interviews end up feeling like they are interrogations. The candidate might feel as if they are guilty being not good enough until proven otherwise. On the other hand, if we bring empathy into the conversation, and if we are supportive, everything changes. We get to see the real potential of the candidate. They can bring best self forward, and they can perform better. Even if they are not the right fit for the role, they can still leave with a good impression of your company. And this is the win-win situation for both candidates and hiring managers. While we may not see an immediate return on investment from improving candidate experiences, kindness costs nothing. And being kind in hiring process pays off in long run. So ghosting and leaving the candidates in the dark may only hurt your brand. So let's create win-win situations for both candidates and hiring managers. Let's lead with empathy. Lass uns mal lieb sein. Let's be kind. Thank you.